Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me again for another exciting tutorial. Today what we're going to touch up on is how to use the color range selector, which is a new feature that came out in Lightroom, so that way you're able to edit out exactly the part that you want, masking it perfectly, not in Photoshop but in Lightroom. Alright, so let's get started with this video. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on the channel again. My name is Emmanuel from Dimensions Photo, where every Friday we put up a new tip, trick, or tutorial on everything that has to do with photography. Alright, so what we're going to touch up on today is one of the newest features that actually came out in Lightroom. Actually, this update was done already a few months ago. They had already mentioned it at the Adobe Max event that they had. But this is the color range selector. So basically what this is that just as in Photoshop, you're able to mask out a certain area of the photo and then edit just that specific part. So you're able to mimic that same function but in Lightroom. And since Lightroom is the go-to editing app, especially for quick photography, for weddings, for any fun projects, so it's definitely a great thing that you can do everything in Lightroom without having to go into Photoshop unless you're getting into real detailed and professional retouching. Alright guys, so I'm definitely excited for this tutorial and I hope you guys are also excited, so let's begin. Okay, great. So thank you for joining me for this tutorial. Then as I had mentioned, what we're going to learn here is a very helpful tool and a way to mask your edits in Lightroom using the color range mask, which is one of the newest features in Lightroom. So let's get started and explain how it works. So as you know, in order to do any type of mask or specific location edit, you can use any of these sliders here, which is the graduated filter, the radial filter, and the brush tool. So what I'm going to show you is first just using the graduated filter. Right, so what this does is it creates a filter over whichever part of the image that you dragged. So if you see here, if I wanted to change the temperature, actually before I explain that, so basically what I'm dragging over is a mask. So everything highlighted in red is what's being affected by the mask. Everything not in red is not affected by the mask. So let's say I come here and I want to change the sky a little bit, so a bit more of an orange hue. Okay, and maybe I just wanted to darken it, right, using the exposure. Then I would do like so, but the problem is here that this part is being affected. So what's an easy way to fix this or make sure that it's not affected is using the range mask, which is here. So once you make a highlight using the mask, any of the mask tools or filters, you go to range mask. In this case, there's color and luminance. For this example, we're going to use color. So basically what it does is it's going to only affect whatever color you select. So here I'm going to select this area, and you can drag a certain area and grab the colors that you want. So that does is that it selects this area, and as you saw, automatically it took away from this color because this color does not match the same color as the sky. So now we have the amount of the range selector, and as you pull back more, you see that more of the building comes out and even a little bit of the sky that wasn't that color. Right? So this is a very simple way so that areas that you don't want affected, like the building, will not become affected. So if we continue to play with the settings here, let's say we dehaze it, or we haze the sky rather. Now it's only affecting the sky and it's leaving this edit by itself, which makes it clear and simple and almost looks unedited. Okay, so that is the power of the range mask that was added to Lightroom. And there's a number of ways that you can use it, but these are the more practical ways. And then you can play around with them and see what else you can do with it. Okay, so that was using the color, and I'm going to show you an example using the luminance. Okay, so let's say we have this picture here. Now we have two sides. We have this area which is darker, obviously shaded darker, and then this area which is lighter. However, we do have the tree here which is also dark. In the middle we have the tree, we have some bushes. So let's say, again, I'm going to use the graduated filter just because for this example you can understand it a lot better. Right? I'll wait for my computer to catch up. There you go. So I'm going to make this filter and drag it up from the corner like so. Great. So I'm going to click here just so you can see which area is being affected. Okay, so as you can see, this whole area, white area, is being affected, but also the shade, the tree, the bush here, this tree. Okay, but let's say if we want to only affect the whites or the brighter color, the brighter area, it'll be a little bit difficult. Okay, so let's say I want to, again, change the color, add a little bit more of a yellow tone there. And then maybe bring down the highlights a little bit. You know, whatever the case may be. But we only want it to affect this area and not everything else. So again, now we would go to the range mask. But this time, instead of using the color, we would use the luminance. The reason why is because since it is basically white versus dark, there's no color to register. But however, what we want to register is the brightness. So whatever is as bright as the snow, it's going to select and modify that. So again here, so let's select this area. Oh, I think I made a boo-boo. Let me delete this. Alright, so we're going to select our graduated filter here, and let's go back to range mask and now luminance. So now we have two sliders. Instead of the selected as I saw before, we have two sliders, and it basically goes from dark to light. So as we move the slider over, we can see how the filter is affecting only certain areas, and it's pulling away from anything that it feels that is not the same shade. Obviously this is an extreme pull away. Yeah. And my computer's acting up today. So basically, using the range and then the smoothness, this basically just makes sure it does affect only certain areas. So as you can see here, it's still affecting this area here where it was bright, but it's not affecting the tree or the bush. So you can actually use this for so many different examples, not only for nature and building, but also when it comes to portraiture, you can affect just the skin tone, the face, and then maybe the hands of the model, and then you can just adjust those tones and do different things like that. So I would just recommend to play around with it. It's a good way to just be able to effectively add your edit to a specific location without affecting the whole image. Okay guys, so that is your tutorial for the range mask. Let me know if there's anything that I missed. You can leave it down below in the comment, and if this helped you in any way, also let me know in the comment section which is the way that you would use it in your photography. Alright, thanks again guys. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's a super simple but super effective way to edit your photos. You're able to grab perfectly the clouds or just the skin tone of the person and edit that part out while leaving the color on the outside. Basically, this gives you with a free range of creativity when it comes to editing, and you don't necessarily have to go into Photoshop to do this, but you can fix everything directly in Lightroom. Okay guys, so I definitely hope you did enjoy this tutorial. If you did, as you know, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe. That way you can get the notification every time we do upload a new video. And if you do have any friends or family that you think would enjoy this content, any photographer or aspiring photographer or editor, then why don't you just send them over to my page, share the link, and that way they can also see this great content. And lastly, leave a comment below on any future tutorial that you would like to see, whether Lightroom, Photoshop, or even any functionality of how to use a camera, a certain type of lens, and I'll definitely do a video on that for you guys. And signing off for this video, once again, my name is Emmanuel from Dimensions Photo, where we help you take your photography to higher dimensions. Keep shooting, keep sharing, and keep smiling. And I will snap at you guys in the next video.